None of us have ever seen a hearing like today's hearing in Georgia, held to determine if the district attorney's romantic relationship with the special prosecutor she hired somehow prejudiced the proceedings in the case against the defendants. A private attorney representing District Attorney Willis was on her feet arguing against the defendant's subpoena to force the district attorney to testify. Fani Willis's lawyer was actually in the middle of her argument to the judge to block the subpoena of Fani Willis when the District Attorney Willis came walking into the courtroom without her attorney apparently knowing it, interrupted her own lawyer, spoke directly to the judge saying she would drop her objection to testify, and voluntarily walked straight up to that witness stand, as you just saw, and took her seat. It was instantly clear that Fani Willis was there, ready to fight for her reputation and to fight to preserve the case she built against Donald Trump and his accused co-conspirators. This was also, in effect, the first day of Fani Willis's re-election campaign as district attorney this year, because it is the first time Fulton County voters have heard their district attorney speak directly about the accusations against her. Some of those voters will recall candidate Fani Willis, when she was running for district attorney in 2020, saying this:
supervisors under my leadership that are not encouraging and building up my staff will not be supervisors long in my administration. And I certainly will not be choosing people to date that work under me. Let me just say that.
If District Attorney Willis had chosen to actually live by that personal rule of not dating anyone who was working under her, she would not have been in court today. There was no proof in court today that she actually violated any of the actual rules of her job or the law. We will get into Fani Willis's testimony and Nathan Wade's testimony in depth. But first, there was another politician in court today, and that politician had a much worse day in court than Fani Willis. Criminal defendant Donald Trump finally has his first trial date, and that is the most important thing that happened in a courtroom today involving defendant Trump cases. Donald Trump showed up today for a hearing in Judge Juan Merchan's courtroom in Manhattan, where the suspense leading up to today's hearing was all about, would the judge actually schedule a firm trial date at the end of today's hearing or after today's hearing? He didn't. He scheduled it at the very beginning. It was virtually the first thing the judge said when he took the bench. Judge Merchan said, "Good morning, people. As you know, this matter is on today for decision on motions. We'll start there. The court has a written decision which will be handed down right now. In substance, defendant's motion to dismiss has been denied. Turning now to the issue of trial, I can make you aware that I contacted Judge Chutkan last week. On February 7th, we spoke for a bit about scheduling, which, as you know, we're permitted to do. After speaking further a bit, she called me back on February 8th, and we spoke a few more minutes about scheduling. As you know, there is a lot of moving parts in the D.C. case. Really, nobody knows what's going to happen and when it's going to happen. So at this point, I can inform you that we're moving ahead to jury selection on March 25th. Donald Trump's lead lawyer on the case, Todd Blanche, was instantly on his feet protesting, saying that he thought, quote, we would be able to discuss the trial schedule today. The judge said, what I said was we'd be in a better position to discuss it today, and we can do that. Mr. Blanche, well, Your Honor, a discussion with Judge Chutkan and then announcing that the trial will start does not allow President Trump or his counsel to put on the record our position on why we very strongly believe that a trial to begin on March 25th is a grave injustice. The judge, you can make a record if you like. The ensuing argument and consideration of other motions went on for 2 hours, at the end of which Donald Trump's lawyer, Todd Blanche, tried one final protest of the trial date, telling the judge, quote, I know you've let me make a record, and I appreciate that. But the fact that we are going to now spend the next 2 months working on this trial instead of out on the campaign running for president is something that it should not happen in this country. It's just not. The judge. What's your legal argument at this point? Are you making a legal argument? Mr. Blanche, that is my legal argument. The judge, that's not a legal argument. Anything else? See you on March 25th.